Blessings. So, the topic we're going to talk about today is when God shifts you. So, what does it mean when we say God shifts you? So, what that means is like the supernatural move or change in a direction, often involving spiritual, mental, emotional, and practical advancements intended to align you with God's purpose and plan. So, divine intervention. An example would be God, you can meet somebody. God would tell you, this is your person, right? It happened to me. You could be with this person and everything is, has its ups and downs, but everything is going good. And God is going to give the relationship at least 4 chances. Whoever is going wrong in the relationship. In my situation, God gave this person 4 chances. And no matter how much you try to speak the word of God to the person, just let them know God shift. And the only reason God shift because He's going to guide you on the path that you need to be on. So you can be with someone and you start to grow apart. One person may start to elevate more than the other, right? That may be confirmation. You might hear a beep. Also for change and growth, right? Again, it involves a change in perspective, mindset, circumstances, leading to spiritual growth and a deeper connection with God. So if someone is hindering you in your relationship, from you reaching that soul connection that you need with God, if they are preventing you from these things, that is not your person. No matter how much you try to explain to them, they're never going to change. They're never going to change on that. They might change, but probably not the timing you need them to be on, right? Especially when it comes to kingdom spouses, you have to be equally yoked, right? Got to be on the same page about a lot of things, right? So shifts can sometimes involve stepping outside of your comfort zone, requiring faith, trusting God's plan, even when the path ahead is uncertain. So the alignment with God's will. So the ultimate goal of the divine shift is to align one's life with God's will and purpose, right? As we said. So that could be, if not a relationship shift, like you can be with somebody, the relationship is going toxic. God is going to tell one of the people, one of the persons that's together. Why am I talking all twisted? I'm sorry. That it's time to leave. And it's time to shift. He can also bring in somebody else very quickly in as a shift, right? That is so you can leave that situation because God sees it. God sees the person. It could be either manipulative. What is that? They do love bombing, all these things. They just don't listen. It's a lot of different things. Careers too. You can have a career shift, not just a personal relationship shift, but you can have a career change. You're on a job for a certain amount of time and you just start to feel like, oh man, this job is not for me anymore. You need to be elevated. You need to be doing something more. God could be calling you to leave your job and do full-time ministry. Whatever it is that He's telling you to do, you need to listen. You can also shift to in spiritual growth, right? Put you to sit alone to yourself so you can build that connection with Him, right? To get that understanding of God's character and a stronger faith in Him, right? You can also have a shift in your financial stability, right? You can go from broke to rich, wealthy, quick, right? That's a shift. God can shift you just as much as you can have a lot, and he can shift you the next way too, just because you're not being obedient, and a lot of different things that fall in line with that, right? So opportunities, right? New opportunities going to start presenting itself during shifts. You may get more open doors for you, new experiences so that you can grow. These are ways God shift, right? And the signs of the shift would be, you're going to have first of all, he's going to start making you feel like a discomfort in your situation. He's going, like in a relationship, he's going to start to shake things up. For you to start seeing the person's true colors is going to start coming forth, right? So that discomfort is going to be there, and he's going to push you to want to leave that relationship, to end the relationship with the person. So that's a discomfort. To end the job and say, no, I got to quit. I got something else, and you got to trust within God that something else is right around the corner. Anything, new desires, unexpected opportunities, things, doors opening that's out of nowhere, and you didn't even see it coming, right? A renewed interest in spiritual matters or desire to serve God in a new way. Meeting the right people at the right time. These are the shifts. So it's just important for us to pay attention to those shifts when God is presenting them. Now, the people who are not fully walking with God as they're supposed to, they're not going to understand the shift. They're not going to understand the shift. They're going to think, oh, it's crazy. What are you doing? You're leaving your job. How are you going to pay your bills? You got to trust God. You got to trust God enough, and you got to have faith. Until you make a move like that, you're going to really, really see how God works in your life. You could be in a relationship with somebody for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And the relationship isn't healthy for you. It's a constant argument. It's a constant battle. The person is putting you down, right? They putting money before the relationship. They're cheating. What are you going to do? You're going to sit there? No, he's going to be pushing you to leave that relationship because he sees and hears all. He may give you the visions that you can see if you have the gifts. So that's a shift. He might just start sweeping in somebody else to say, hey, I got someone better for you that is on your frequency. He can do that. That's a shift. Doors of opportunities open, right? You may be working on, you might be in a hairdresser, and he might tell you to stop doing hair. I need you to work on, just think of anything off my head. He might just tell you to start cleaning, feeding the homeless. He might tell you to do anything like that. A shift. So I say all this to say, be ready for the shift. A lot of people is not ready for the shift. They will never understand it. They will talk out the face and talk about you in the worst way behind your back because they don't understand the way God works. And when you start understanding the way God works, you won't even care what people have to think. They just going to see the movement and understand it at the end, especially when it comes to relationships, because they wasn't seeing your worth when you were there. So people have to see your worth after you're gone. Because they always think you're going to come back. I don't know why people get, I understand it, but I don't get it either. People going to wake up at some point and realize the stuff that they're in is not good. So be ready for the shift is all I'm telling you. Be ready for the shift. Understand when the shift comes. When you start feeling that shake up and that uncomfortableness, it's time to shift. Listen to the wind. You hear that wind blowing, that heaviness? God is shifting. Be ready for the shift.